Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is your AstroShaman, and we are here generating an economy of harmony, leveraging human design and genetic astrology. Really starting to just digest the genes that have been operating within us, one, before conception, two, while we're in the fetus for this particular gate that we're going to share about, which is actually gene key 57 or gate 57 human design. If you have gate 10, this will be connecting for you. What else? Gate 10, gate 20, or even, no, just those two. If you have those, then you're going to basically create a full channel for yourself. Gate 20 is Gemini, gate 10 is Capricorn. So this is actually going to be in the spleen. All right, this is the Libra full moon message. The Libra full moon is happening at 16 degrees. That's the degree of Cancer, and Cancer is a very soft and sensitive sign. Now you're talking about that in combination with a airhead or a mental sign like Libra. But what we need to understand about Libra in this instance is Libra is not simply an airhead, and it's often confused and confuzzled, and I hope to bring a lot of clarity on that today. Libra is one of the most intuitive signs. First off, Libra has about 4 gates in human design in the spleen. And the spleen is one of these places where we are able to understand what's healthy and what's not healthy. Literally, it is our intuition that says what version and level of fear is bringing us a sense of unease, which is actually one of the shadow frequencies of Libra. Look at how many Libras you've met who've just been uneasy, where physically they may not necessarily show the unease because Saturn is one of their rulers in terms of exaltation, and Saturn is this serious, stern face, right? But beyond that, they have Venus, which is their natural ruler, right? And again, it's this polished energy. It's this prince who you have no idea what's going on underneath that mask of him being a prince, or the princess being a princess, or the king being a king, or queen being a queen. They have a world of internal fears that are happening. All right. Now, unease is the shadow frequency of Libra in this particular gate at 16 degrees. And the unease is happening in the mind. It is the fear of our thoughts around money, as well as, surrendering certain karma, certain relationship karma. Because at 24 degrees, Taurus will be at 24 degrees. During, and let me confirm that, Taurus will be at 24 degrees. Yes, Taurus will be at 24 degrees in Venus. Now we have to look at Venus because why? The moon in Libra is happening, sure, but the home planet is Venus. So we need to understand what's at Venus. And I also want to look at what's going on with, we have Pisces and Saturn where it's exalted, if you wanted to count something extra. And this is just doubling up on this Venus at 24 degrees. Saturn in Pisces, 24 degrees is Pisces, right? And so this is major. We have, first off, conflicting energy in the sky. A lot of it is gone by time of the full moon, but the sun will still be there in Aries, and Jupiter will still be in Aries, and Chiron will still be in Aries. Now, what's major about the Chiron piece on this Libra full moon is that we're operating from a healed space and not from a wounded space. So we're recognizing what instinctual fears that we pick up from a frequency level, literally from our parents, from our mother, 16 degrees, the mother, Cancer, and the Libra moon. When our mother was, if you look at your mother's chart, especially if you can get just from a chart analysis, and Libra loves to digest information intellectually speaking, right? Very powerful mind, but also a more powerful intuition. And I'm going to help you understand how and why Libra is one of the most intuitive signs. It's grace, the clarity it experiences. The key thing is, we'll get there. So whatever frequency of fear your mother was going through when she was born, not even when she was born, while she had you pregnant. So when she was pregnant, ask your mom, what was your environment like while I was still 9 months in your belly? And then you'll get a sample. And then say, Mom, how did you respond? Because Mars in Cancer is a respond energy. Cancer responds. The moon responds. 16 degrees in Cancer, Libra responds. Literally. So Cancer is a response energy. It is a security-based energy. We respond to certain insecurities or certain fears in an instinctual manner that was developed while you were in the womb. Now, this is what Gate 57 is essentially saying in Gene Keys. Check out the membership, all right? Sunday we meet on April 2nd, 4 days before this new moon, or 3 days, depending on where you are in the world. April 2nd we're meeting. But the full moon in Libra is on the 5th of April or the 6th of April, depending on where you are. Take a moment to hit the thumbs up. If you have not subscribed yet and you're enjoying this already, go ahead and take a moment to just hit the subscribe button. Like I said, this is your AstroShaman, Pernell Bobby. We are generating an economy of harmony, leveraging human design and genetic astrology. And the genes, this is what I'm talking about, the womb. We have likely, if we ask your mother, how did you respond how did she respond to fear? Now, in this particular instance, it's going to be the more specific question. How did you respond to fear of not having enough money? Did you speed up? Did you become more impetuous? Or did you begin to hesitate? And these are going to be two of the frequencies. If it's repressed, she might have been hesitant. And what hesitation looks like is having an intuitive hunch, feeling in the wind around you from the birds chirping in the background that I should wait 5 more days before I make this investment financially. And that's what the intuition said. But the mind says, oh, I don't want to lose out on this opportunity. I got to join this group. I got to join this membership. I got to join this whatever now. And if you did, like, maybe she had this now mentality. This is now saying she was in this impetuous energy. She was like, she was so afraid of not having the dough, not securing the home, not putting money down for the lease or the home, that she was going to lose it. So she acted faster. And what happens is she started to take the internal security, which is what Cancer wants from us. Mars is in Cancer at 5 degrees at this time. All right. So this is again happening at the healed state. How do we work in the healed frequency of everything I'm saying? But I got to help you understand the shadow frequencies first, and how unease is this overwhelming energy of like, how do we deal with unease? How do we respond? So again, in that reactive state, she speeds things up. And as we speed things up, we become more miserable. We're looking at it and we're like, okay, intuitively we know, you know what? I'm going to get 6 more clients, before the next 6 months. I don't know how they're going to come, but I just feel it. I can feel it deep within me. But trying to speed that up and saying, look, I got to get them now. You create this. You allow your security to be measured by an external source. And this is where Libra is exalted in Saturn, but it gains some of its external validation, again, from Saturn. Versus, falling into like its intuition, which is the gift frequency of the 57th gate and Gene Keys or human design. It's this gift frequency. And so what I'm saying is like, this is a lot of energy of helping you to work and be present in it now. If you have gate 20 or if you have gate 10, gate 10 being really, forming the self, gate 20 being present in it now, this 57, if you have these other two, you're going to realize that you being consistently present in the now and recognizing that you're not separate from the future, even though you'll get ClairAudience messages from the future. And what that looks like is hearing the birds and then being able to intellectually decipher and determine. That's what ClairAudience is, being able to hear the birds, and it chirps 5 times, and the 5 to you means, oh my God, there's big change, a little stress is going to come from this change, but at the end of the day, everything's going to be beautifully perfect. And within that, you're able to be gentle. And that's what the 16 degrees of the Libra full moon is asking for. It's asking for us to be truly gentle with the amount of shifts and changes, and realize that we're able to balance the mind and the heart. And when you work through that, you essentially transcend this concept and theme of duality altogether. And until we transcend duality, essentially we're never going to be healthy, because we're going to either, one, be overly stuck in our minds and have this tuning fork energy within us that can attune to the natural sounds of the cars and the dogs barking that says warning, or the eye that's red and it says you're emotionally not seeing what needs to be seen. Our intuition at the Libra level will really be what keeps us healthy, but it's all going to be about how do we respond to fear, and how do we respond to The housing markets are high. Groceries are high. How do we respond to this? Do we understand and intuitively know that a day will come where inflation will cease to exist, and I'm always going to have enough money. I'm going to have enough food. I don't need to be impetuous and stock my food up to the point where I now lost all my money and I created more problems because I couldn't afford to do it in the first place. Or be hesitant when you realize you should stock that food because it'll be better to not have to make those expenses later. So you may pay more now, but in the long run, you're going to save. And if your intuition tells you that, the suppression of becoming hesitant looks like the mind suppressing the intuition and forcing us to make decisions mentally. So this entire Libra full moon is about being gentle, soft, kind, and receptive in the feminine energies, recognizing that Libra has the ability to exalt in Saturn, which means that it is not governed by time. We have the ability to look at everything that once made us uneasy and just witness it from this healed state to say, I'm actually not uneasy at all. This is this frequency that my mother had while she was pregnant, and I am officially ready to make this and turn this into a sacred wound. That not only am I feeling more intuitive and I'm trusting my intuition, and what it means to trust your intuition is to get an intuitive spark and to listen to that intuitive spark, to act on that intuitive spark, and each time you do it, you begin to trust your intuition more than the mind. The biggest issue is that the mind has taken total priority and created these false and perpetual scenes of what we need to be afraid of and how do we respond to these fears. Keyword, respond. We're now catching up to the frequency of saying, look, I now have this spontaneous sense of clarity of what is healthy for me, and I make the intuitive decisions. Because again, this is in the human design, the spleen that is connecting to, and it will be likely defined during this full moon in Libra. So ultimately, if you can ride the wave of the wind and understand that the wind is something, again, Saturn energy, we can just, like a Pisces, Saturn and Pisces, majestically sense the suffering of the world around us, but instead of being a sponge in one way Pisces like to operate, we learn to become a screen. And the screen is where now the fear can pass through you and you don't budge. You don't respond in the way that your mother did while she was in this state of constant fear, whether through media or her parents or her family, because this is Venus is in Taurus, so it could be family, at a foundational level, who would say, you need to do this, you need to get a job, you need to get a second job, a third job, you need to leave the house and come move with me. And it's like this impetuous side or the hesitant side. You got to look at it for yourself, but ultimately understand that what I'm saying is with Chiron and Aries and the sun already passing it by about 1 degree, it's no longer applying pressure to the wounds that we're looking to heal at an individual and instinctual level of how we would ultimately respond in moments of agitation, because the partnering programmer in this is Gate 51, which is agitation in Aries. And as we kind of really move beyond that agitation and that unease, we feel more intuitive, we feel clear, and then we have this spontaneous sense of always knowing what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and nothing is happening at a rush and nothing is happening at a stage of second guessing. But all of that, in order to experience that, it requires a certain sense of gentleness. So be gentle with yourselves. There's a lot of chaotic energy I see and I feel in the world, and what you're going to realize is you're not going to be able to communicate with certain, let's say, masters of their own energy and raising their light energy and their frequencies above the current unease and fear. You won't be able to connect with these healers or these gurus or people who will ultimately give you a sense of calm, because you're going to be operating in such total different frequencies that you seemingly are not going to be able to get on the phone with them or be able to text your old mentor or whoever were the people that you would lean on, whether through forms of victimization, which is happening, in Gate 55, Saturn and Pisces, it is happening, where we're people operating at the higher frequency of the 57 gate. If you used to be able to get an authority figure to fall to your potential emotional karmic forms of manipulation, you likely won't reach them if they're operating at acidic frequencies. So if you find yourself not able to reach them, this is why. We are talking about this again a little bit in our membership on Sunday. So this is ultimately what I got for the Libra full moon. It's a magical time because it's happening right between the new moon at 0 degrees in Aries and then the solar eclipse, which has not happened from what I'm hearing from one of my other favorite astrologers, Molly McCord, shout out to you, in about 9 years. So I don't know that for a fact. I'm sure she did her research. 9 years the last solar eclipse happened in Aries. So this is a grand time. This is 9 years later of beginning something brand new, passionate, and robust. Truly coming from a place of the heart. This is what this full moon is in the middle, literally Libra in the middle of the 29 karmic and a 0 degree karmic Aries moon, new moons, 2 back to back, with the Libra in the middle. Couldn't be more iconic of the balancing beam, where Libra has that clear ability in its gate 57 to completely transcend all forms of duality. And the best thing I can say in this is about following the sixth sense or the intuition, with being something you feel in the body. And this is why, again, Taurus is the body. Literally, Venus is in Taurus at 24 degrees. We are meeting this karmic, output of, I don't even want to say output, it's more like an input. This karmic, we're receiving this karmic blessing, receiving feminine energy. We're receiving this karmic blessing in a soft manner, but we have to be soft right now. Don't be hard with yourself. Because the North Node, I believe, let me check. Where's the North Node? Okay, Venus already passed the North Node. But we have Mercury, so our mind is applying from 4 degrees at the new moon, at the full moon, in Libra. It's applying from 4 degrees to 5 degrees in the North Node. So what am I saying is again, 4 degrees, another Cancer element. While Mars is in Cancer as well, we are cutting through this motherly fear, the instincts that have engaged us in fearful narratives and how we respond to that fear. We're mentally applying, and eventually when we get past 5 degrees to the North Node, we're going to be separating from that. And so, take after April 5th to April 6th, and you'll really be able to align and resonate with everything I just said. But also understand that, Uranus and Neptune are what? I don't know. That's 7 degrees apart. Venus already moved by there, but the Mercury will catch up. And so this is already something that it's already faded. When you have the North Node there, it's faded. The mental direction that we're surrendering. 24 degrees of Taurus, 24 is Pisces. We're talking surrender. We're talking sacrifice. We're sacrificing these root level basis of instinctual forms of fear that while we were in our womb, while we were at our foundational levels of growth, we experienced and we learned how to stay conditioned in this pattern, but we're letting it go, and we're not acting from the wounded space, but we're turning these wounds into a sacred wound. So if you resonate with this message, hit the thumbs up again, ladies and gentlemen. Join my membership, and we're really kicking it. We're screaming. I'm turning it more and more into an economy where we can all relate and serve our separate goods and services. And it's just a magical time to be alive. So thank you for checking in with this Libra full moon message. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up and hitting the subscription if you're brand new. This is your AstroShaman Pernell Bobby. We are generating an economy of harmony. The gentleness we spoke about. Leveraging human design and genetic astrology. Help you understand the genes, ladies and gentlemen. Combining it and indicting it with astrology. I love it. I love you too. Ciao.